Good morning, guys. Just a short word, just something that I've just been pondering on, and something that gets me continually. In Genesis 3:1, Satan pretty much asked Eve, are you sure God said that you shouldn't eat from that tree? And I find time and time again, I end up back at these points. I end up back at this place, and I have people ask all the time, is it wrong to do this? Is it wrong to do that? Show me in the Bible where I can or can't do this. We're always looking for a definite line. Don't cross here. Don't step past this. But God doesn't really do that. He tells us to search our heart and reach inside our heart and what kind of person are we through Him, in Him. And I relate this a lot in music, and my daughter asks me sometimes, hey, there's this song by this artist and blah, blah, blah. Is it wrong to listen to this? We just had a conversation, and she actually led off the conversation the other day with, I know you tell me, that I shouldn't just want to listen to something. I should have reasons why. I should search myself and have an actual reason why. And that's still true. And I find that sometimes we get complacent in our standards and our integrity. And my standards and integrity are not going to get me to heaven, and I know that. And I want you to know that. But your standards and your integrity is what people see in you, right? Your integrity is pretty much is what the people see you as. That is who you are, right? However much or little integrity you have in your life. And I know, there are some, and I've been guilty of it myself. I said I have this standard, and then I broke it. Right? I've missed the mark, more or less. But it happens. It's things and guardrails that we put in our lives that we say that I don't want to overstep this boundary, and the best way to not overstep this boundary is to make sure I don't do this. We set our own standards and our own lines. And well, here's a point right here with Eve where that standard would have been good, and we get too caught up sometimes, and we're like, well, I don't want to be legalistic, and I'm the least legalistic person that you'll ever meet, but I do have rules. I do have things that I do and I don't do, and the reason I do and don't do them is because they're not good for me. They're not good for my family. They're not good for my testimony. And how can I help you when you look at me and say, you know what, if I went out drinking every weekend and and I stand before you and say I used to be an alcoholic, and you look at me and go, well, you still drink. So, what have you been delivered from? I tell you how alcohol used to destroy my life, and it almost, took my family from me. And yet I still drink on weekends. And you say, well, you still drink, So I can't help you. I can't help to tell you that there's a demon in drinking. I'm not going to judge you for drinking, but there's a demon in it, and it's not good for you, and it's not good for me. And I will not drink. I will not. I try not to go. We go to restaurants. Obviously, we sit down and eat, and they serve alcohol in those restaurants. But I'm not going to go to a place that is specifically designed and centered around selling alcohol to its customers. Because I've had people throw that at me before. But that's a rule and a guardrail and a regulation in my life. And even with that, the devil whispers in my ear, is it really wrong? Did God really say that it's bad for you? And I have to pretty much talk right back to the devil and say, yeah, he said that being a drunkard is wrong. And I was a drunkard, and I was addicted to alcohol, and I am afraid that I'll be addicted to it again. So I'm going to stay as far away from it as I absolutely and possibly can. So I want to stay away from the temptations and the places that would tempt me to drink. And we do this music ministry, and thank you. Just a quick plug for anybody who comes out, supports us, and gets on our websites. But we got this music ministry, and I've been asked by other ministries before, will you go to a bar and play music? And my personal answer is this: I don't judge you for doing that, but no, I won't, because I don't need to be seen. My integrity does not need to be lashed. When I'm sitting and I'm telling people how alcoholism almost ruined my life, I don't need to be doing that in a bar. For one, the owner of that bar that's not honoring the owner of that bar. I can't go somewhere where sin is rampant and sin is just overflowing and dishonor them by walking in there and talking against sin. To me, that's dishonoring to them. It's disrespectful to them. And, I know they disrespect themselves through sin, just like we still do, but I don't want to dishonor them. I don't want to do that. So I can't. I can't walk into a bar and play Christian rock and pawn it off and get their attention with it and then tell them how alcohol almost ruined my life. It's just dishonoring. If they want to hear the truth, they'll come out of the truth. And there are people, God sends people that way to do those things. But for me, I had a problem with alcohol, so that's not somewhere that I want to go. It's not somewhere I'm going to be. And like I said, I don't judge people for it. But I still struggle with it. Every once in a while, the devil will whisper in my ear, "Are you sure?" Because, that's where the people who need the help are the most. Why won't you go here? Because that's where the people need the help. And I have to put up a boundary there. And I beg God, there's some things in my life that I have changed. And I know some of you who know me personally know that just over the past year and a half, there's some changes that has happened in my life. And, because I came to a point where I just felt stifled. And I had the devil in this ear whispering to me saying, "Are you sure this is wrong? Are you sure that's wrong?" And then I am in my other ear going, "Absolutely, this is wrong." But then one day God kind of broke me down and God said, "Well, have you stopped long enough to really try to understand what I said, what God says is wrong?" And I went to His Word, and I was standing on some boundaries that was actually holding God back from working in people's lives. And so we are all subject to change. We're all subject to go. It's not that God's Word changes or that God changes His mind about it. It's that we sometimes interpret it wrongly, or we put it into action in our own ways. But I just wanted to bring that word to you today, and I just pray that it helps you some. Search your heart if your heart is following God. If your heart's not following God, the Bible also says to steer your heart. That it's deceitfully wicked all the time. So we got to be careful if we're going to follow our heart. Make sure that you have your heart steered toward Christ and His will in your life and everyone around you. So I pray today that word helps you. That's Genesis 3:1. Whip it up and read it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.